Hello everyone, my name is Dean, let's talk crypto. This is where you subscribe for daily Bitcoin updates and technical analysis. We track the price of Bitcoin as a proxy for the cryptocurrency markets at large. Today is February 4th, 2025. And as always, we're going to look at Bitcoin and what it's been doing, but we had a really good look at Bitcoin yesterday. And nothing's really changed, and it's doing pretty much what we said it was going to do. I'm going to recap all of that, but what's really interesting about today's episode is that we're going to further examine my thesis, my trade thesis, that altcoins are at the beginning of alt season. And we're going to use Ethereum as a proxy for altcoins being at the beginning of their alt season, being at the beginning of their bull market. So we're going to look at what that looks like. We're going to do some back testing. If all that sounds interesting to you, then watch until the very end. Let's get started as usual with Bitcoin. All right, guys, just like I said yesterday, the thesis is quite simple. As long as you're under this 80-day parabolic resistance, you should be bearish. As soon as we break it, retest it, then you're bullish, right? That's, it's not it's like a facts over feelings type thing. It's not like you hate Bitcoin, you love Bitcoin. If you're honest and you look at the chart, this is what the chart's saying. So as long as Bitcoin's under this 80-day parabolic resistance, you should be bearish and you should be preparing for a larger move to the downside. And that's a different conversation altogether where you look once this breaks, right? 80 days, people who have been bullish actually have been quite fortunate, because you guys go on social media just like me. Do you see how much people have been panicking about even the small trips to the bottom of this 80-day channel, which is nothing? You're quite literally in sideways price action. Imagine the smell, as we say, if this channel actually breaks to the downside. If people are saying they lost everything. People are saying that they completely gave up. They have capitulated and it's the end of everything if you're just visiting the bottom of the channel. So just keep that in perspective. This is why it's important to really have good trade plans and be vigilant, be careful, because an actual breakdown of this goes down much lower, as you all know if you follow this channel, than just the bottom of this channel. Obviously it goes down to probable targets between 65 and 70k, right? Anyway, that's Bitcoin doing what we said it was going to do, which is matriculate to the top of this channel. Okay, ever since we bounced from the bottom of the channel, we broke the midline. Okay, we're looking some way somehow to find our way up there. Okay, and then in the process of Bitcoin making its way up there, altcoins start doing something epic, something that we don't get just every day. We get maybe once every 4 years, sometimes once every 8 years, depending on the asset. So let's spend time today looking at altcoins. We're going to start with Bitcoin dominance. Okay, just like I said yesterday, Bitcoin dominance is at a macro top, okay? This is exactly what everybody should be looking at. Excuse me. What everybody should be paying attention to. This chart right here. Because this chart right here is telling you that whatever you're doing, if you're exposing yourself to the cryptocurrency space, you should be exposing yourself to altcoins. Not all altcoins indiscriminately. No. If you're savvy, if you're clever, you understand not all altcoins are going to put in a bull market, sustained higher highs and higher lows, because they don't always do that. They never all do that, right? Some altcoins go, some altcoins don't. Some altcoins take bull markets off. That's kind of the purpose of, that's the premise or the impetus behind my crypto portfolio and consultation service. First and foremost, helping people identify the assets that are likely with a high degree of probability to actually give sustained gains in the bull market, because not everything will, right? Litecoin didn't for a whole bull market or two. XRP didn't for a whole bull market or two. And it wasn't it didn't speak necessarily to the quality of the asset. It's just what happens in a normal market. Sometimes you need 4 years just to consolidate, just to accumulate buyers. Okay, so that's quite normal. And in our space where everybody wants something yesterday, and we've only been in existence for a little over a decade, and a lot of these altcoins are only 3, 4, 5 years old at most, people don't understand markets take time. Those bull markets that you see 100, 200, 300, 400x, sometimes you get them right off the rip. Other times you gotta wait years just to see that. Okay, that's that rant. But do you see that generally speaking, you have a decade-long resistance and you're up against a decade-long resistance? Okay, on the smaller time frame, if you zoom in, you have other resistances that you're up against. I noted this 600-day resistance that you're up against. Okay, so you want to be, basically what this Bitcoin dominance chart is telling you is be bullish in the altcoin space. It's your job to then discriminate and really tease out which altcoins to be bullish in. But generally speaking, altcoins, it's where it's at. They are going to, generally speaking, outperform Bitcoin. And this is something we see typically, right? Generally speaking, we have the Bitcoin halving. 2 years after the Bitcoin halving, Bitcoin goes up, and altcoins, generally speaking, there are always exceptions. Generally speaking, they stagnate. And then after those 2 years, altcoins run and they outperform Bitcoin. That's what we see. And then Bitcoin goes, and does what it does. But it's not all 4 years, okay? And that's a longer conversation. A lot of people are under the impression that everything happens the same every 4 years. It doesn't. It actually doesn't. One, you can clearly see it in the data and in the charts, but I'm not going to get into all of that. So we're talking about altcoins. Bitcoin dominance, first and foremost, is telling us that altcoins are at the bottom. This is what this chart should tell you very clearly. They are at their bottoms. Moving on. I want to look at Ethereum as a proxy for altcoins. Just like we use Bitcoin as a proxy for the cryptocurrency market at large, I want to use Ethereum as a proxy for the altcoin market at large. So I want to look at this index chart. So index charts are basically charts that have the most data, okay? And this chart has all of Ethereum's price action ever since its inception in 2000, what was it? 2000, when is this? Bro, give me the date. I don't know, 2015, something like that, 2014, 2015, whatever this is. For some reason, you can see it won't give me the date. 2015, August 2015. Okay, as you can see, Ethereum is more likely than not WXY in a wave 4. Okay, it's just finishing a running flat. You can see that, right? So basically here it's quite simple. You look at this as wave 1, wave 2. We talked about this. Wave 1 goes up, and wave 2 typically comes down to between the 0.382 and the 0.618. Actually, usually wave 2 comes between the 0.5 and the 0.618 of wave 1. Okay, and then you get wave 3, which is the longest and the most bullish of the Elliott waves, and it tends to be approximately 1,618 to 2 standard deviations, or 1,618 to 2 times the size of wave 1, and sometimes it can be longer. And then wave 4 tends to be some sort of complex flat correction, which is what I believe we're in. Right, a WXY, a running flat, which is indicative of a super bullish asset. So I think that's what we're in, right? And this isn't that germane to what I'm talking about. I just want to give some context, because you're going to be like, oh, I can see that you have all of this mapped up. What does this mean? So I'm just going to tell you. The next major resistance for Ethereum is going to be obviously this dotted line. But I think we break it, retest it, and then continue. And that would be your wave 5. But like once wave 5 is printed, Ethereum puts in a massive correction that lasts just as long as this lasted. Again, the cycles that people tell you every 4 years, no, it's not every 4 years. This is why you got to read the charts. And okay, let me tell you something else. So 2020, so what we're going to do today is what we want to do is look at what we're getting now. So my contention is that this right here, this capitulation that we experienced on Sunday was the beginning of the next bull run for Ethereum. Okay, a proper bull run, a sustained higher highs and higher lows, no retracements below the 618 Fibonacci retracement level for months. And you can expect major gains. We're already in wave 4, so we could even extrapolate a wave 5 with a high degree of probability. I'm not going to do that here. But that is my contention. We don't get this type of situation every day. So I can't say, oh, in my experience, last time we had a bull. No, the last time we had a bull market in Ethereum was in 2020. And I wasn't paying attention like that. But that's only one instance of this. So my best bet in trying to figure out, okay, well, if this is the start of a bull market, what's it supposed to look like on the smaller time frames, is to backtest. Some of you who don't know anything about technical analysis may not understand this term. Backtest is basically when you take a chart like this and you go and you look historically as to what happened in a similar situation, and you can kind of see, okay, well, if that's the case, then this is what I should look out for. This is what this chart is doing in this situation, right? Again, we don't have that much data, so I'm going to use 2020. And why am I using 2020? Not because everything went in a bull market in 2020. No. But Ethereum went in a proper bull market in 2020. As you can see, 2020 was right here, okay? And you made a nice proper double... Sorry, 1 second. I'm trying to... I'm sort of... I've got a voice in my head saying, did it go into a bull market in 2020? Are you sure that's not a running flat like you just said? Looks like it. Oh man. That wasn't it. That wasn't it. I'm going to retract my statement. 2020 was not a bull market for Ethereum. This is what this chart's telling me. Although we made higher highs and higher lows, and this was a very nice B wave, this is clearly a B wave. So looking at this wouldn't give us the information we're looking for. I'm doing this all in real time. I hope you guys aren't bothered. I don't like editing, like over editing my stuff. I just, I'm here with you. I'm talking with you. I'm thinking with you. So this is an organic process. In any case, based off of the higher time frame analysis, I'm looking at all of this as a running flat. Ergo, what happened in 2020 for Ethereum is kind of like what happened in Bitcoin for me, in my view. You got a bullish B wave, which is higher highs, right? So like basically you're looking at this as a WXY because it's complex flat, but you could say it's an ABC running flat. It doesn't really matter. But essentially this up a higher high, like sustained higher highs, was from a flat correction, so it's corrective. The thing is, a lot of people didn't notice that because the C wave was so truncated because it was so freaking bullish. But this is a running flat correction in my view. This is a running flat correction. So this was actually not the last bull market. It's a bull market insofar as you're making higher highs and higher lows and you're making sustained gains, right? I get it. But what I'm trying to do is really look at the last time we were purely impulsive in Ethereum. And that was actually here in 2016. I hope you guys are seeing what I'm trying to do here. Basically, my contention is that we're starting the bull market. And I want to know what it looks like at the beginning of the bull market. How do I know? Because we don't have that happening every day. So I got to go back however long it needs, or however long I need to go back to see what price looked like last time it did that, what the price action did. How does a bull market begin? So that's what we're going to focus in on. We're going to look at November of 2016, but we're going to look down on the daily time frame. So what I'm going to do here, and this is something you can do, on your own. But you see the mistake I made in the beginning. You have to disambiguate higher highs and higher lows from pure impulsive price action, right? If you want to be really careful, and I'll show you why in just a second. Let me not get ahead of myself. So what did we say? November 2016, right? So let's just do right here, November. Let's say November 1st. Okay. So we're on the daily time frame, November 1st, 2016. It's here. Okay. So this is basically the capitulation into the bull market. And again, every bull market starts with a capitulation. Every bull market starts with a strong move to the downside. And what you got was a big, strong V-shaped recovery. You hit resistance, right? And then you corrected a bit. But that correction was not... So basically, you didn't go straight into pure impulse. This is what I was trying to understand, what we were going to do. You don't go straight into pure impulse because, look, this took 1, 2, 3 days up, and then it took much more than 3 days down. So that is a corrective consolidation. That is a corrective consolidation. That's another corrective consolidation. So basically, you're going to put in a series of corrective consolidations. And in Ethereum's case, you put these up and to the right. I hope I'm not losing anybody. Mind you, these corrective consolidations all hold the 618. Do you see that? They're above the 618. Now, let's go back to my earlier, like March of 2020, right? Because remember, March of 2020, I contend, based off of what I'm reading on this chart, was not a bull market for Ethereum, although it was a bull market in that it was higher highs and higher lows, but it wasn't pure impulsive price action. What you're going to see in pure impulsive price action will blow your mind. If you were impressed with as to what happened in Ethereum in March of 2020, you're going to lose your mind as to what's going to happen now. Okay, let's go and check out March of 2020 and see how it differs from what we see here in November of 2016. Again, look at November of 2016. Remember what that looks like. Basically, higher highs and higher lows, but all the while, you're holding the 0.618. That may be what Ethereum does once more. Okay, now let's jump. If I figure out how to do this, March of 2020, yeah? March of 2020, what does that look like? And you're going to see what I'm talking about just in the charts. So, why didn't it move me there? Let's try that again. March of 2020. March of 2020. I didn't pick a date, or a day, that's why. Okay, March 1st, 2020. This is what we get. Okay. It looks, to the untrained eye, it looks exactly the same. You basically make a series of higher highs and higher lows. But this is corrective. If you can't tell by the naked eye, maybe it's because you don't spend your whole life glued to a screen like I do. But if you pull your fibs, you'll see this. You broke the 0.618 quite considerably right here. And you came all the way down to the 0.74. Do you see that? That's a big difference. That in and of itself shows you that what comes after is corrective in nature. That's the proof. It's subtle, but it's right there. If this was pure impulsive price action, you never break the 0.618. You can wick below it, but coming down to the 0.74 is a break. If that doesn't convince you, it's probably because it doesn't really mean the same thing to you, because you haven't seen, hours and, I don't know, tens of thousands of hours of charts that are in correction and charts that are in pure impulse and what pure impulse looks like. So, but that's proof, mathematical proof, that what you saw in March of 2020 was a corrective move, albeit a bullish corrective move. So, not to get sidetracked, but in present day, what we're experiencing, and let me go to present day. How do I go to present day? It's right here. There we go. Present day, what we're experiencing is, we had our strong capitulation, and what we're likely to experience based off of our backtest, which, mind you, a great backtest has lots of data. This doesn't have too much data. Again, crypto's so young. We're talking about assets that have been in existence for 10 years or less. So the last time Ethereum was in pure impulse was in 2016. It came on the market in 2015, right? So like we don't have that much data. But with the data that we have, we're expecting, let's go on the 4-hourly time frame now, this right here to at the most come down here, but never break the 618. If this indeed is a pure impulse in a pure bull market, which looks like it from my vantage, from my analysis, right? I know this is a bit arcane for some people. It's a bit in the weeds, but it's really helpful to understand this, because if this is true, even if you get in, you shouldn't expect major retracements until you reach big resistances. This is the first big resistance right here. And I think, again, what you're going to do is break it, show strength, retest it, and then continue like that. Yeah? And then, obviously, once you hit the bottom of this, you're going to show... Yeah, this is probably where... this is probably what you're going to do. You're going to go up here. This is going to be resistance, right? Because this is a massive resistance. This support that we lost in 2022. That's going to be the retest of this massive resistance. Retest as support. So you're going to retest 15K or 16K, something like that, and then continue on. That's going to be what the Ethereum bull market looks like. Now, having used Ethereum as a proxy for the altcoin market at large, let's have a quick look at some of our altcoins just on the smaller time frame, and then we'll sign off. So let's look at BAT, for instance. Let's go on the 4-hourly time frame. So if this is true, if this trade thesis is accurate, what you should expect to see is a series of retracements that do sort of consolidate up and to the right, all while maintaining a 0.618 Fibonacci retracement every single time. I hope that really is clear, and we're gonna let's just go down, see a few. Dent, same thing. You're going up, you're gonna correct, but each and every time you're going to maintain that 0.618, continue to go up, matriculate, and then you fly. So it may be a little, you may be tentative, you may be a little hesitant to get in positions, and I'm not telling you not financial advice, but I'm just saying, based off of this analysis, this is what we should expect. Even while our Bitcoin dominance chart may retest some of these highs, we should, if our altcoins, the ones that we've been talking about, are really bullish, right? Even when it starts going up here before coming down in earnest, we should expect a maintenance or maintenance of that 0.618. So, if we just go down the line, we see thus far this is true. You're getting up into the right consolidations while maintaining that 0.618 retracement level, right? Even in Hook, this is slumped probably the most of everything I've seen. you're maintaining that 0.618. If you can't eyeball it, you just pull out your fib retracement levels, right? From the bottom of the move to the top of the move, and you can clearly see where the 0.618 is. Again, a wick does not constitute a break. A break, one of the reasons I have the 0.74 retracement level down here is because that, once the 0.74 is hit, I know that is a break. That is a clean break of the 0.618. It's not a question. That's why I put it on my fibs. 0.74, by the way, is the phi ratio using base 12 instead of base 10. Okay, so that's what we're seeing up and down the line. Cardano, you're going up and you're retracing, and you may retrace even more, but you're looking for that 0.618 retracement to hold. That should indicate, that should be a clear and clean marker of an impending bull market, which means by definition up into the right price action, giving you higher highs and higher lows for months, all while every single time you retrace above that 0.618. That's how you get these astronomical gains that we see in the bull market. So guys, hope this was helpful, hope this was useful. It's a little different, it's a little more nerdy than usual, a little more technical than usual, but still very useful, hopefully. And that's all I've got. I'll see you next time. Take care.
While the world spins without me, arrived at the fork in the road, could turn back, repeat the same story, or march forward and embrace change and reflect upon his glory. I'm a selfish man, therein lies the whole problem. Torn between my actions and the will of my heart. I had to take it all apart to see where I stood as a man, to depart from this world and leave it in his hands. Come on. Yeah. Looks like I'm heading for the gold, y'all. Touring on a pothole road, y'all. I get it even if I didn't fit in, winning right up to the end, like I didn't even know, y'all. I have Pop's genetics, working hard never to get it, like should've betted on letting life get the best of my efforts. Instead I dedicated to bettering my steps, measuring investments, watch me do it to the death, y'all.